Hi, ninth grade students. My name is Miss Magilke, and I'm one of the counselors here at Bellaire High School. I'm the counselor. If your last name starts with I, J, K, L, or X, I'm your counselor. On this presentation, we also have Miss Liliana Hernandez. She's the counselor for G and H. And we also have Miss Debbie Campbell. She's our Dean of Instruction. She's going to be moderating our presentation today and helping with questions. All right, these are the three topics we're going to cover today. Obviously, we're going to talk about course selection. We're also going to briefly talk about personal graduation plans, and then we're going to talk about credit recovery opportunities and yearly averaging. Okay, so we're going to start first with course selection for 10th grade. Exciting. Okay, so imagine what you when you open the hub for the first time in August, and what is your reaction? Are you going to be happy? Is it exactly what you requested? Is it not what you expected? Basically, the difference is if you're paying attention to our presentation today and you're putting thought into your choices, that's what the difference is going to be. Okay, I'm going to ask if you want to take a screenshot of this because this is very important. This is a quick overview of your graduation plan. To graduate from a Texas public high school, you need 26 total credits. So in the 4 core courses, English, math, science, and social studies, you need 4 years of each, or 4 credits of each. 2 years of a foreign language credit, and it has to be the same language. 1 fine art credit, 1 PE credit, half a credit of health, and 5.5 credits of electives. So I'm going to break all of these down here in a second, but this is the overview. So how do I go about choosing my classes for 10th grade? So what I need you to do is think about any credits you took in middle school, and then think that were high school credits, okay? High school credits. And think about the classes you're in now. You do not want to choose any courses that you've already taken because you can't get credit for it twice. And then based on that graduation plan, what courses do you need to take next? So we're going to break it down by subject area. For English, one of your core courses, you're going to choose either Academic English 2, College Prep English 2, our middle level, or Pre-AP English 2, our most rigorous level in English, for English 2. Obviously, the higher the level, the more rigor and the more coursework you're going to have. So, and we're going to talk about the levels here in a little bit, but first I just want to talk about the choices. For math, it gets a little more complicated. It just depends on which math course you took this year. So if you were in Algebra 1, you need to select either Academic, College Prep, or Pre-AP Geometry. Geometry is a graduation requirement, so you do have to take it. If you took geometry this year, you're going to choose either Math Models, Academic Algebra 2, College Prep Algebra 2, or Pre-AP Algebra 2 for 10th grade. If you took Algebra 2 in 9th grade, you're going to choose either Academic Pre-Cal or Pre-AP Pre-Cal. If you want to take a screenshot of that. I will say, and I forgot to say this at the beginning, we're going to post this presentation on the website later today. Also, please, if you have any questions as we go, post it in the chat, and Miss Campbell's going to help us go through those in a little bit. Also, she has posted some resources for you, like the course selection sheet, a planning worksheet, and then the CTE guide and the fine arts guide. Okay, let's talk about science. For science in 10th grade, if you took IPC this year, and you haven't taken biology, you need to take biology. That is a graduation requirement. So it's going to be between the 3 levels: Academic, College Prep, or Pre-AP. If you took biology this year, you will need to choose IPC if you haven't taken it. Some students took it in 8th grade. Or in the IPC, I just want to make a note, that is not a graduation requirement. That is an optional class. It does help you prepare for chemistry and physics. That is an optional class. If you haven't taken it and don't want to, you can move straight into chemistry, college prep chemistry, pre-AP chemistry, or principles of technology, which is an academic physics class. So to graduate from high school for science, biology is the one requirement for sure. And then after that, you can either choose chemistry or principles of technology. And then after that class, you would have lots more options later. And we will go through that next school year when we have our next course selection presentation. Okay, for social studies, for 10th grade, you're going to choose between the two levels of world history. There's academic and AP. So this is the first opportunity to take an AP course. It's a great opportunity. So what's great is that a video was made from one of our AP world history teachers. So it's good to check that out if you have interest, or even if you don't know if you're interested, it's good to check that video out to learn more about AP world history. It's a great opportunity to take your first AP level course for your high school career. And then levels, choosing a correct level, really, you have to put thought into this. But for all of those core courses, you know, we have several levels. And so if you don't really know which level to choose, it's a great idea to talk to your current teacher, because they can give you the best advice based on your progress this year. And then also your counselor can help you too, but it's always good to start with the teacher first and then also talk to your counselor as well. For foreign language, I mentioned you need 2 years of the same foreign language. If you haven't taken both years, some students take the first year in middle school and then the second year in 9th grade. If you haven't completed both years, you need to go ahead and take go ahead and do that in 10th grade. The 2 required classes have to be in the same language. After that, you can take additional foreign language credits, and those are counted as electives. And fine arts, it's required to take at least 1 fine art credit. If you haven't already taken it, it's a good idea to go ahead and take this in 10th grade and go ahead and get it done. After that first one is taken, you take additional classes as electives. We have several fine art classes on our campus. On the course selection sheet, if you download it, which is listed on our website, we have them all listed. We have lots of choices for fine art. Same thing for foreign language, lots of choices there. Okay, I think we're going to go through, before we start on this part, we're going to go through some questions. Ms. Campbell, are you seeing any posted?
Yes, there's a few.
Okay.
So, are the summer classes that aren't for recovery, what are the summer classes that are not for credit recovery that current 9th graders can take?
So in the past, we offered health. Like if you haven't taken health, which Ms. Hernandez is going to talk about health in a few minutes, we did offer it in the summer. And then we sometimes offer PE when we're not able to offer PE this past summer because of the pandemic. So health and PE just depends. In May, we'll know more as far as which classes are going to be offered. So it's best to just check with your counselor in May to see all the classes that are offered. If we're not able to offer any classes or an original credit class that you were looking for to take, HISD Virtual School is a great option for you for an online class. But before you sign up for HISD Virtual School, you have to get approval from your counselor. So please talk to your counselor about that.
Next question. If I take a semester of gym and then a semester of a sport, does that count as my gym credit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Gym and sports are athletics, and those do count as your PE credit, and it can be combined that way.
If I took chemistry this year and I've already taken biology, what science do I take, or what are my options for next year?
So you have lots of options. Just quickly, I can list a few, and they're actually on the course selection sheet, but you could choose from example such as AP Environmental Science, Environmental Systems, Principles of Technology, which I mentioned, Anatomy and Physiology. And I think that's going to be it, because there's some other ones. Oh, actually, depends on which math course you were taking. AP Bio might be available to you, depends on how much math you have finished. And then also same thing with AP Chemistry. That might be available to you depending on how much math you have finished.
Okay, next question. What are the differences between pre-AP, pre-cal, Math SL, and Math HL? Just some questions in general about math there.
So I couldn't tell you as far as like what kind of curriculum is in each one, but I do know SL Math and HL Math are going to be the math courses for IB students. If you're not an IB student, then you're going to be taking pre-cal.
All right, and how can a student know when they're looking at the course selection sheet whether a class is a 4.0 or a 5.0?
So the 5.0s are going to have a designation of pre-AP, AP, or IB. If it doesn't have any of that, then it's going to most likely be a 4.0 class.
Okay, can we take a 0 period? If yes, which courses are available?
So there's not that many for 10th grade students. There's going to be, the only thing for 0 that we offer is going to be debate and swimming. Now, in later on, when you get into 11th and 12th grade, we have, at least in the past, offered AP Statistics in 0 period. I just don't know for certain if we're going to do that next year. And again, that's usually for if students who are at least in pre-cal and above. But that's going to really be it.
Is there a variation or a theater class that is 5.0 that students can take?
So we do have an IB theater class, but that is for advanced theater students. And so those are students who have taken at least 2 to 3 years of theater. So, Theater 1 or Theater Tech, and then are in our theater production class for at least a year or 2. And then you can join the IB theater program with Ms. Oligan.
If I've gotten all of my PE credit and I want to continue in like taking dance, will it be an elective credit or a fine arts credit? Can you kind of explain that?
Okay, so the first year of dance is going to be PE. The second year is going to be fine art. So if you're in it 2 years in a row, that knocks out your PE and your fine art credit. Anything in addition to that, so if you're in a third year, that's going to be an elective credit. So usually we schedule it for the first year to be PE. So ideally you want to try to stay in at least 2 years so you can get your PE and your fine art credit.
And then can we take AP Human Geography instead of AP World History?
No, you cannot. AP Human Geography can replace World Geography. There's high schools in the district that offer AP Human instead of World Geography, but no, not at Bellaire. AP Human is an elective. It does not take the place of World History. AP World History, no.
Is there a 5.0 guitar class?
There is not.
What on the GPA scale, how many points do dual credit classes get? Do they get the bonus point?
They do. But right now at Bellaire, we only offer 2 dual credit classes, and they're for seniors only at this time.
Let's see, I'm trying to just kind of get general questions. I think a lot of them we're going to touch on as we move forward, some of the other ones. And then there are some very specific questions that probably can be answered in the open lab. So let's go ahead and go to the second half of the presentation. And I think some of these will be answered, and we'll take more questions in just a little bit.
Sounds good. So I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Hernandez. She'll take over for the second half of the presentation. Thank you, guys.
Hi, everyone. Really important, I'm going to start off in this slide. If you have not completed your 2 semesters of PE or an equivalent like a sport and 1 semester of health, you need to consider taking this either in the summer if we offer them. Again, we don't know yet. We'll know more by May. Or in 10th grade. So these courses have to be completed before 12th grade. Electives. We have a lot of CTE or career and technology electives. We have 6 pathways or 6 plans of study. There's animal science, so your FFA, business management, design and multimedia arts, distribution and logistics, programming and software development, travel and tourism. If you took a principles class this year, you can consider taking the 2nd level in that plan of study. In the course selection sheet, they are in order. So you'll see that if you took principles of business, you'll see what the next class is. And we always recommend that you try and get all of them done by the end of high school. So if you have questions, then we can also address that. If you're a CTE transfer, you have to take a CTE class. Did want to mention that. So if you are CTE, magnet, or an IB transfer, then you have specific courses that you have to sign up for, okay? If you're magnet, then you have to sign up for the next level of your contract language. If you haven't taken your 2nd language choice yet, you can consider taking it your sophomore year. For CTE transfer students, like I said, you have to sign up for a CTE course. Try and stay on that plan of study. Look at the course selection and you'll see what the next courses are. That way you can get some more in-depth knowledge. And then IB students, Ms. Lindsley will be in contact with you regarding the classes that you have to sign up for. We have a lot of electives. There's ROTC, there's debate, yearbook, newspaper, psychology, sociology, discovering language and culture, etc. Please look at the course selection sheet for all those options. Remember, you do need 5.5 elective credits to graduate. Okay. So PGPs, personal graduation plans. All freshmen received an email about this, about the personal graduation plan. You also received a message via Teams from Mr. Brown. He is the go-to person if you have questions about your personal graduation plan. Now, what is it? Every student has to have one, and this is regarding your endorsement. So every student at BHS starts with the multidisciplinary endorsement, and then you can add on depending on what electives you choose. You are required to have one on file, and without it, you don't have an endorsement selected, which can make your course selection a little bit more difficult. So check your HISD email for a message from Ms. Campbell regarding your missing PGP, and then watch the screencast in that email. Also, Mr. Brown sent you a message, and if you have questions, email him. That is his email right there. There are a lot of resources online. A lot of times we'll get questions that are in these resources, so go ahead and check them out. You'll be able to see the course selection where we have all the classes listed. And then there's also a worksheet that helps kind of guide you through your course selection process. And then there are the CTE guides and the fine arts guides. Instead, if you look at the CTE courses and you're like, well, I don't know what that is, check them out. They're also on our website. We're going to have open labs. So Thursday, Friday, from 1 to 2 on Teams. A counselor is going to be available to answer your questions if you have specific questions as well. You're going to find the link for these Teams meetings in the website under course selection. So once you know what you are going to take, write that down, and then you're going to put them into a Google form, okay? The deadline to do this is Monday of spring break, so Monday the 15th. You don't have to do it right now. Think about it. Ask questions if you have to, but please do it by Monday so we can move on to the next step. But we're going to go ahead and give you the link in this next slide. You might want to take a picture of it. And so when you're ready and you have everything set, you're going to go in this link. And again, you don't have to do it now. Take your time and submit it by Monday. And let's see. Now we're going to talk about yearly averaging. So if you failed a course the first semester, so these are for the year-long classes, okay? So if you failed the first semester below 70%, your goal is to yearly average the course the next semester. So basically, you want to make sure that both grades add up to 139, okay? So 65 plus a 74, that means you will get the credit for the whole year. Now, both must have been taken within HISD to qualify. Credit recovery is if you fail the class, you don't yearly average, you're going to have opportunities to recover that credit, okay? And your counselor can help you with that. We have Grad Lab. There's a program called On Time Grad with the district. There's HISD virtual school. We will have summer school for credit recovery. And summer school is going to be registered in May. So please speak to your counselor before you do register. You don't want to register for something you already have credit for. So if you have very, specific questions, your counselors are available. You can contact us through email, through Teams, or Remind. If you haven't joined our Remind group, please do so because we do send important information. We have Mr. Lawler, who's our lead counselor, Ms. Childs, who is the counselor over the last names A, B, and Z, Mr. Flanagan, who is the counselor over last names C and W, Ms. Leday, D through F, O and U, myself, if your last name starts with G and H, Ms. Magilke, who you saw earlier, I through L and X, Dr. Hernandez, M, N, and V, Ms. Hill is P through R and Y, Ms. Davis, S and T, and Mr. Vives is the ESL counselor. So I think we will, we're going to leave that link for you to fill that out. Ms. Campbell, are we going to go through some questions?
Yes, we are. Can you repeat for them when course selection is due?
It is due by Monday, this Monday, spring break Monday.
Okay, and I'm in the process of putting the link in the chat too. It is also, the link is also on the homepage under course selection. There's quite a few things listed on that page, but the link is also on that page along with the links for the open labs tomorrow and Friday. What's the difference between a 5.0 and a 4.0, Ms. Hernandez?
So 5.0 classes have an extra weighted point for the GPA. Basically, you get a weighted and an unweighted GPA. If you take any 5.0 classes, it allows you to kind of boost your GPA to a 5.0, towards a 5.0. These are your IB, pre-IB, AP, pre-AP honors classes. They are more rigorous. They have more workload. They're the highest level in each of those specific courses.
Okay, what does it mean if it has a prerequisite?
It means you should have already taken something, or you have to take something concurrently with the class. So there are prerequisites in some of our science classes. For example, if you're going to take, let's see which one, AP Physics 1, you have to be either enrolled in pre-cal or have completed pre-cal. If you're not really sure about the prerequisites, definitely find out before you do request it, because then we won't be able to put you in it.
Can you guys kind of address what the travel and tourism class is, and just in general about CTE and the number of credits, and if they're electives, just kind of an overview of CTE?
Ms. Magilke. We can't hear you.
Ms. Magilke, we can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I muted myself. And then can you still see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we had on our campus, we have a number of plan of studies under CTE, in which we talked about on that one slide. So travel and tourism is one of our plan of studies, and it's a new one for our campus. Basically, in the first class in that plan of study is called Principles of Hospitality. And so what I'm going to do is ask you to check out our website on bellaire.org and click on course selection. And then if you scroll to the middle of the page, you'll find a CTE guide. And actually, Ms. Campbell posted it in the chat. In that guide, it has course descriptions for all of these courses. And so you can see on there what Principles of Hospitality is. So we're only going to be offering the first class in the travel and tourism plan of study next year. And then the following year, we'll offer level 2. And then again, the following year, level 3. And so most of these plan of studies have all 4, that's listed here. All of them have all 4 courses already, except for this travel and tourism one, since it's a new plan of study.
Okay. Should, when they're completing the form, should they use their personal email address or their school address?
I would ask that you use your school email address, because that is something to get used to using. We do send emails there quite a bit. And so I would ask that you use your school email.
I have posted in the chat the link to the electronic form. A couple questions about that. It is in the chat for this. It is also posted on the homepage of the website. I'm looking. A couple of questions about, like, if they're in PE, can they take another year of PE? Or actually 2 different questions. Some of them have really liked their electives. They're asking if they can take the same elective for a second time.
It kind of depends. If it's the same exact class, no, you can't. But if it's a CTE class, you can take that class again, like the second level of it, the same plan of study, but the second level of it. But no, like if it's a class, like say it's psychology, no, you can't take psychology again. For PE, technically, no, you can't take more PE. You have to take only the 2 semesters, because you can't get credit in the same class again.
Okay, and then a question about endorsements. What other endorsements other than multidisciplinary, and specifically like arts and humanities, and how can they figure out if they want to get a different endorsement, what classes they need to take to earn that endorsement?
Mm-hmm. Ms. Hernandez, you want to go with this, or?
Sure. So you have your multidisciplinary, which kind of encompasses a nice little variety of electives. Then you have your arts and humanities. For that, you have to have taken 5 credits of a social studies or languages. So if you're a magnet student, you will very likely get the arts and humanities endorsement because of the amount of language courses that you're going to take. It's 4 years, and it can be 2 and 2, so it can be like 2 years in one, 2 years in another. Also, if you do, you know, your 4 years of orchestra, things like that, or any fine art. For STEM, there are some requirements. You must have taken biology, chemistry, physics, your 4 sciences, 4 maths, right? And then 1 more science or 1 more math to qualify for STEM. So 1 year you would probably have to double up either on a math or a science. Then you have our public service endorsement is for those students that complete 4 years of ROTC. And then we have our business and industry. That's when you complete your CTE pathway. So that's a way for you to get that as well. And you can have many endorsements. We have students that graduate with from 1 to all of them sometimes. Rarely, but sometimes. Am I missing anything, Ms. Magilke?
No, you got it. Yeah.
Does for dance, does the first year count as a PE credit?
It can. It depends on how it was coded. Sometimes you can get your first year of dance as a fine art or as a PE. It would have to say PE aerobics if it's the dance PE credit. If it's dance, it's very likely it will be counted as a fine arts credit. But if you take it again, it can count as a PE.
If you're wondering how it was coded for you this year, like if you're in dance now and you're not sure if it was coded as PE or fine art, that's what you need to look at. Like Ms. Hernandez said, if it says PE aerobic on your schedule, then that's going to be the PE one. Correct. If it says dance, it's going to be the fine art one.
All right, how does one double up on a subject? Do they have the ability to take 8 classes? And in that too, there's another question in the chat about 0 period. If a class becomes, if we don't know if it's offered yet, but it becomes offered at a 0 period, can they make a schedule change to get into it?
Yes, so this is not set in stone. You're going to get a verification in May. And then also when before the school year starts, you'll have access and you'll be able to, request changes that are, if there's any mistakes or things like that that need to be made. So yes, that you can make that change. As of now, like Ms. Magilke said, what we've offered is your debate, swimming, and AP statistics for 0 period. So taking 8 classes would mean that you would have to be in those, those classes as well as 7 periods. That's really the only way I can think of, unless you're doing HISD virtual school or something extra above your course load at Bellaire. It is a lot though, so something to consider.
Okay, had a couple questions about the AP World History promo video, and it is located on the homepage of the website. It's also out on social media, but I also dropped the link to it in the chat for kiddos. This question, do they have to put S with their ID number? You don't need to put S with your ID number on the course registration sheet, just your ID number. Can high school classes that were taken in middle school count towards endorsements?
Yes, they can. Okay.
And the rest, we've got some really specific questions. And the reason why we've set up those 2 open labs in the afternoons tomorrow and Friday is so that a counselor can answer specific questions. So I think with that, we're probably going to go ahead and wrap up our time together. If your question was not addressed, it's just because it was very specific to you, and we'd encourage you to reach out to your counselor, but really to hop on one of those calls tomorrow afternoon or Friday afternoon to get an answer. So with that, Ms. Magilke and Ms. Hernandez, if you guys are good, I think we're going to go ahead and end our time together.
Okay, I thank you guys for coming and watching the presentation, and I hope to see you soon. And please, again, if like Ms. Campbell mentioned, if you have questions, hop on the call tomorrow between 1 and 2. The link is on our website under course selection. Have a good day.
Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.